Hi there. I just want to tell you before you do watch this video that this video is going to be pretty shocking, graphic, and explicit in terms of its content. So, in case you're watching this with children or you're watching it without earphones, I suggest you switch them on because the content is 18 plus. It's going to be really shocking and very controversial. So, please do not watch this publicly, watch it privately. And all the links are put down below. I'm just a reporter who shares what he reads. And I don't know if this article would get deleted. So before the article gets deleted, links are put down below. Check the article, watch the video, and give me your thoughts. Once again, I am just giving you my opinion on an article that is on a public platform. Having said that, here's the video. Hi there, Loy Macedo. Speaking to you from LoyMacedo.com. Who's Loy Macedo and Think Personal Branding. All right, the time right now is, the date is 19th October 2020. It's 4:07 in the morning. Now, I actually didn't plan to put up this video, but because as I was, sorting out the stuff, the jobs for UAE with my clients, the resumes, personal branding stuff, and I was also preparing the report for the UAE updates based on the information given by expats. And I got this link that was sent to me by someone from Qatar. He is a very high-ranking contact of mine in Qatar. He gives me a lot of information that is, about the UAE. And he sent me this link, and I'll put the link in the description down below. This one is pretty shocking, really, really shocking. And it's so shocking and disturbing that I will actually put the screenshot on this side of the video where you can actually see what I'm saying so that nobody can make a claim that this is fake news. Okay. And I will read the article exactly the way it is because I'm pretty sure that this article can be banned in some parts of UAE or it will be blocked. So in case you do not wish to be tracked, I will read the article that is mentioned here. And if you can access the article via VPN, I suggest you do that. Okay, so this article is without a doubt the most shocking article that I've ever read to date. Okay, so the article is from the Australian. It's dated 19th October 2020. And this is an article, the title is Emirati Minister of Tolerance Sheikh Nahyan accused of sexual assault on Hay Festival curator. It's written by Christina Lamb and it's dated it's dated October 18th, 2020 at 6:31 in the evening. Now I'll read out the article exactly the way it has been shown here. Okay, what it says here is, I'm reading it from the article without any editing, nothing else. First, it shows the image of Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. Now, mind you, the gentleman is very, very prominent. He's very powerful. He is a member of the Al Nahyan family, one of the most powerful in Abu Dhabi. In fact, he appears on literally every festival, every event, every outdoor function that there is. He is the image of UAE. He's very well respected. He's very well venerated. I mean, he is as powerful as the Nahyan sheikhs can be. Okay, he's literally everywhere. So his photograph is put here, and this is what it says. The article. It says here, when her phone rang on Valentine's Day and the United Arab Emirates Minister of Tolerance, Sheikh Nahyan Al Mubarak Al Nahyan, came online, Caitlin McNamara's heart sank. She had spent almost 6 months working at his tolerance ministry, having been hired by the Hay Festival to organize its first ever collaboration with the UAE. Writers from all over the world were flying into Abu Dhabi for the festival that was starting in just 11 days, including the Booker Prize winning Bernardine Evaristo, the Nobel laureate Wol Soyinka, and Zhang Chang, the author of the Chinese blockbuster Wild Swans. Caitlin had ever persuaded the ministry to agree on opening night performance by Mashhoor Leila, a Lebanese rock group whose lead singer is openly gay. Then it shows the screenshot of the Twitter Hey Festival Arabic @Hey Fest Arabic. It says, what better way to end the first day of Hey Abu Dhabi 20 than with the electrifying performance of Mashroua Leah. Okay, this one is dated Feb 26, 2020 sent at 2:29 a.m. Okay, then going to the article, it says, but there was one problem. While the Hey Festival promotes freedom of expression, human rights organizations repeatedly condemn the Gulf states' persecution of critics. Human rights was a close issue to Caitlin's heart. There's an age-old debate of whether it's better to have a platform in countries like that or make a stand by boycotting, she said. I've done my post-grad degree at SOAS, the School of Oriental and African Studies in London in Arabic, after international relations in Sussex, specializing in cultural diplomacy, and I really believed in engaging. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm slurring a bit because it's 4 a.m. I was planning to sleep, and I want to make this video right now. Okay, as the only foreign woman working in the ministry and an Arabic speaker, Caitlin had tried to use her access to those in power to seek change. Okay, then it says, the day before Nayan's call, she had met the senior official at the ministry with Peter Florence, head of Hey Festival, on speakerphone. They raised the case of Al Mansour, a poet sentenced to 10 years for social media posts insulting the status and prestige of the UAE. It was an intervention that discomforted Hay's PR company, Brunswick Arts. Okay, then there is a photograph of poet Ahmad Mansour, who is sentenced for 10 years in jail for social media posts insulting the status and prestige of the UAE. Okay, following that, it says, the heading is a call from the Sheikh. Late the next morning came the call from Al Nahyan. He asked how I was and asked me to dinner, Caitlin said. It was a very brief, formal conversation. I had never spoken to him on the phone or met him alone and assumed it would be a meeting with some prominent Emiratis to try and get the festival to drop their campaign. Then it says, after 6 months, there I was used to being summoned to meetings at all times of the day, she added. And no one said no to Nayan as he is like a god. Obviously, because Nayan is a very powerful family. It is the most powerful family in Abu Dhabi. Okay. Nayan, 69, is a member of the enormously wealthy royal family of Abu Dhabi. The House of Al Nahyan, headed by Sheikh Khalifa Al Zayed Al Nahyan, the 4th richest royal in the world, according to Business Insider. It controls a sovereign wealth fund of estimated assets of dollars 1.1172 billion, that is 1,172 billion, including many properties in London, and one of whom Sheikh Mansour owns a Manchester City. Caitlin is from Hay in Powys, Powys, the daughter of a builder and a GP. She rents a 1-bedroom flat in East London and cycles everywhere. Then there is a photograph of the members of the royal family. It says here, members of the Abu Dhabi royal family, the House of Nahyan's Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan left, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. His Highness Sheikh Hazar bin Zayed Al Nahyan, His Highness Sheikh Mansoor Al Zayed Al Nahyan. I think these were the people who were photographed with the B.R. Shetty, who were part owners of B.R. Shetty's group. I'm not too sure. Okay, this is just my doubt. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Okay, then it goes back to the article. It says, she dressed for work dinner in a conservative Muslim society in a long-sleeved, ankle-length white dress with a high neck. Her phone records show that Nahyan's driver called her about 8 p.m. to say he had arrived at her hotel, the five-star Bab al-Sakr, where the ministry had put her up. Feels like I've been called at a headmaster's office for disrupting class, she texted Florence from her car at 8:11 p.m. If not back in 24 hours, please send help. So she was afraid. She did have an intuitive sense that something might be wrong. That's why she sent this. Just I'm saying, okay. That's why she might have sent this text. Okay. Then it says, text me the moment you're out, he replied. That is, Florence replied, and don't eat anything blue ever. Despite the jokey tone, Caitlin admits she felt uncomfortable and she switched on her WhatsApp tracker, which enables others to follow your location. I wasn't concerned, but I did think it's dark and I'd be told I'd gone too far, she said. She met Nahyan, she thinks, on 5 or 6 occasions to discuss festival preparations, but always with others present. Often referred to as the Sheikh of Hearts, as is widely liked within the UAE. See, here's a thought of mine. I personally know a couple of really very talented, very gifted, very powerful people who have also met Sheikh Nahyan. They have spoken very highly of him. They have spoken very nice things about him. And they said that he's a really professional person. Like, if you ask him for help or if you ask him for anything worthwhile, he's very generous. So that's as far as people who I have known who have told me about Sheikh Nahyan. Now, I'm giving you both the sides, okay? So then it says here, but her disquiet grew when, instead of heading to the palace, they drove in the opposite direction and started out of town. The driver wouldn't say where we were going, she said. Eventually, after 15 minutes, they crossed a bridge to a small island with a villa she believes to be exclusive Al Ghurm resort. Al Ghurm, G-U-R-M, okay, where the properties are mostly owned by royals. One is for sale for more than 12.8 million. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. Okay, don't mind that. It looked like Guggenheim Circular with all concrete and glass. Guggenheim. Okay, whatever. The driver stayed in the car and the doorman opened the door and took her into a lounge. There was no one there, but the walls were covered and the pictures of the Sheikh with royals from all around the world, as well as the Rolling Stones and the Pope. The doorman took her handbag, which contained her phone, as was normal with the meetings with senior royals, and offered her a drink. She asked for water, the UAE being a strict Muslim country. Nah, it's not strict Muslim country. Okay, where alcohol is prohibited, and thinking it was a work meeting. Instead, she said he bought her a bottle of white wine. I don't know why this should be surprising, because alcohol is allowed in the UAE, although maybe they'll not, do that in religious places. But if you see in Dubai, in pubs, and even the news articles clearly state that alcohol is allowed to drink privately. You can even buy alcohol now if you have a license or something. Okay, Caitlin waited for about 15 minutes before the Sheikh came in. He was, she said, immediately more friendly than she expected. To my shock, he hugged me, she said. He also opened a cupboard and pulled out a Tagore bag containing a watch worth about $6,384. Okay, this is my translation of this. I think he was, if this is true, if what it states here is true, well, he was trying to impress her. And I don't know, I wouldn't be very surprised with this, because when a man is alone with a woman, obviously he'll be very casual, he'll be very free. my personal incident, when my mother, who was working for Bukatir, who was the billionaire in Sharjah those days, who used to do the, Sharjah, India-Pakistan cricket matches, I'm witness to this. When my mother went to ask for free tickets for the cricket match, we met him at his, this was his villa, private villa, just where people used to stay, some of his staff. He had a swimming pool there where he used to go and swim. He had, I don't know, finished playing squash or something, and or finished playing a sport. He was wearing a track outfit. He literally went down to his, I think, his swimming costume, literally stripped in front of my mother, and I was there. And he was just talking casually, and he said, "Why don't you come for a party and all that?" She said, "No, thank you, sir." And then he said, "Okay, you want the tickets? You can contact." I can't remember what it was. I was, I think, 9 or 10 years old. So he asked for the tickets, and he told my mother to go. And then, my mother hurriedly took my hand and ran out, and obviously I was confused. So my mother said, they are very free. They are like that. And I was pretty shocked. Because when you look at a guy, you think he's a sheikh, and he just stripped to wearing his swimming costume. Now, I'm not saying that he tried to do anything bad, but when a man is alone with a woman, they don't give a damn. And this was his house, this was his villa, this was his swimming pool. So obviously he'll be pretty free, and he's going for a swim. So the point I'm trying to say here is, when a man is alone with a woman, obviously you and I know that they tend to be very free. And here you're talking of a lady meeting the guy, forget being sheikh, forget being anything, a guy at his private residence. So what do you expect? Okay, it was all gold and diamonds, something I'd never wear, she said, but I was used to these display of extravagance, so didn't think anything of it. In the corner of the room was an enormous bunch of red roses. Nayan opened the white wine and poured her a glass. Very descriptive. It's like as if it's actually a movie, the way they have actually saying it, very detailed. Okay, he was drinking red wine, she said. Then I faced real opposition in his ministry to get a festival a license so that the authors could have a glass of wine. For 3 months, they had been telling me, you can't do that if Sheikh Nayan is there. So to have him guzzling red wine was infuriating. See, here's my thing. These are public figures. Privately, they might do a lot of things. They might drink, they might smoke, they might have girlfriends, they might do whatever. But publicly, they represent the country, they represent Islam. So you can't see them, apart from their Arabic dress, anything else. You'll never see them guzzling wine. You'll never see them with the girls. You'll never see them dancing, So I'm not surprised here, at least. Okay. He gestured for me to sit by him on the sofa and turned on the TV and began talking about Donald Trump, she said. He told me to take my shoes off, which I didn't. I started talking about Mansoor, the poet, which I thought the meeting was about, but he seemed irritated. He said Mansoor is Muslim Brotherhood and is not getting out of jail. That scared me, as in don't usually speak frankly. Well, obviously, Mansoor has been in jail all this time. He's not going to get out anytime soon. He spoke in English. Like many Gulf royals, Nayan is Anglophile, schooled in UK. Sorry, my English is very average. Okay. Schooled in the UK, attending Millfield boarding school and then Magdalen College, Oxford, and is a frequent visitor to London. Then, she said, he put on a DVD of him and his friends traveling around the world in kilts in Scotland and then in South America at a carnival with scantily dressed clad dancers. Well, I guess he was trying to indirectly impress her or, tell her I'm a very open-minded person. That's maybe why he did what he did, means as per this article. He talked about his life in London and house in Hampstead, said Kathleen. Then she claimed he said, since the first moment I saw you, I wanted to be close with you, and I'm going to fly you to Paris and we'll stay in Lee Bristol, a 5-star hotel. I said, I'm here with the festival, she continued. He said, don't worry about that. You'll stay on after and I'm going to take you around. So obviously maybe you're trying to impress her, or maybe it is a very straightforward way of telling him, I like you and, I want to have a good time with you. Okay, That's my translation of this incident. Okay, means what is written here. Then the heading is he got forceful. That's when he started touching me, she claimed. It was creepy. He was on the sofa next to me and he began touching my arm and feet and I was pulling away. Then he got forceful. Suddenly it clicked. Why I was there, I felt so naive. She said she also felt fearful. I was alone on this island in a concrete building with this powerful man in a country where every day you hear stories about people disappeared in the desert. Caitlin said she did not know what to do. Every woman in the world knows that feeling, I need to get out without offending. Having worked in the Middle East region for 10 years, I know that these aren't people you piss off. It wasn't like being in London where I just tell him to get lost. She was also thinking about the festival. I'd hired all these people and was flying writers and people over, and I knew I needed to get out of there without this man thinking I was rejecting him. Okay, so over here, she is kind of worried, she is kind of afraid, and she wants to get out. Okay, to Kathleen, Hay was just more than a job. I grew up there, and the festival was our town. Peter was a family friend and a mentor. I worked every job, washing up, marshals in the car park, running the green room at 15, taking writers to their venues, and research for Peter. Also, I felt such an idiot thinking I was there to talk about the campaign for the poet when he clearly just saw me as a plaything. I started saying, "You're my boss," but he said, "That doesn't matter," she said. Then I told him, "But I'm engaged," but he said, "That doesn't matter." She said she told him, "You want to leave," and then alleges he then said, "You can't go. I have prepared dinner for you." He took me through to another room. In that room, it started getting really horrible, she alleged. He grabbed my face and started kissing me. The doorman appeared again, she said, with a bowl of lentil soup for the sheikh and a huge tray for her with about 15 plates. The sheikh said this was a tasting menu of all he thought I'd like. There was smoked salmon and avocado, shepherd's pie, fish biryani, steak and chips and dessert. I felt sick and told him I wasn't hungry, but he kept cutting things up and trying to feed me. I didn't know what to do. She said, also stopped drinking the white wine, fearing it might be spiked. He kept saying, "I thought you were Irish. Drink." Finally, she said he went to the bathroom. Through the curtains, there was a glass door. So I went outside and there was a lawn with a jetty. And I went to the end to see if I could swim somehow, but all I could see was sea and there was also checkpoints. When she went back inside, he was walking around the lounge looking for her. I told him that it was late and I wanted to go home, she said. He said, "Okay." There seemed to be a change of tone and we went into the room where they had put my bag, so I thought we were heading out. While his back was turned at 11:45 p.m., she managed to text Florence. To his horror, her tracker location looked as if she were in the sea. "Please God, tell me you're sick, partying on a boat," he replied. "Peter, he kissed me," she replied. "I don't want to mess up your festival, but I need to get out of here." Instead of letting her go, she claimed the sheikh took her on a tour. We went into room after room. The villa was really disorienting. There was lots of art, a room full of swords, and another one with the jacuzzi, where he told me to get undressed and get in, but I said no. Then it comes to the next part where it says the golden lift. When we got in the gold lift where he pushed me against the wall, I don't know, lift to go up or somewhere, maybe they have a lift in the villa. Okay. Then we got into gold lift where he pushed me against the wall and began rubbing my breasts in a weird way, like windscreen wipers, she claimed. We got out in a room full of bottles of perfume. He pushed me backwards onto a circular bed covered in fur. He pulled up his kandora robe and was naked under and got on top of me. I pulled my dress down, but he put his hands up my dress and his fingers inside of me. It was really hurting and he was dry humping me. Nayan has denied these allegations. See, here's the thing. Nayana's denied these allegations means they already presented these allegations to him, or they contacted him. I don't know. I'm just reading and giving my thoughts. Okay. He was so frenzied, she added. I kept trying to push him away so that there was no way I would do this politely. I was scared. I know what they do to people like those princes from Dubai who try to escape, whom they abduct and keep prisoner. This man controlled every aspect of my life out there, my flight, my visas, and I'd spent enough time there to know his power and influence. So fearful was she that cannot explain how she got away. I just remember he kept grinding and dry humping my leg, even as I was escaping, she said. Somehow, she managed to get downstairs to the door and into the car. I was trying not to cry, she said. I didn't know what they do to me if I would take me back to the hotel. I didn't know what they would do to me if they would take me back to the hotel. She texted Florence and the car 12:30 a.m. telling him managed to leave his house. Of course, he didn't want to talk about human rights. So stupid of me. Okay, now just to backtrack, I'm just trying to understand. So he took her through the lift. He put her on the bed. He did all these, but then dry humping, and then she ran away. Now he didn't do anything. He didn't stop her. I'm just telling you as I visualize the story. It's a little blank between what happened there to how did she just land up in the car? Did she run away? Did she push him? Did she, So I'm just telling you. See, I'm playing the devil's advocate because the good, bad, ugly. You have to go both the sides. We don't know if it's true or false. Okay, so I'm just reading it and giving you my analysis. Okay, she texted Florence. Okay, during the journey, the sheikh called her twice, as her phone records show. So she claims that she has evidence. He said, "I love you," she said. As soon as she got back to the hotel, she called Florence and told him what had happened. While she was on the phone, the doorbell went and 100 red roses and a Swiss watch that she had left behind were delivered. Okay. I was really angry and frightened, she said. Peter said, "You need to leave now." But I didn't want to go in the dark. I stayed up all night thinking. He kept calling me and I was ignoring the calls, so I knew I needed to go. Okay. Escape to Dubai. She called her friend Josh in London, another friend living in Dubai, with her partner. That friend describes how distressed Caitlin was, almost incoherent, and they offered to put her up. When it was light, she got a taxi, the 2-hour journey to Dubai, staying the night before checking into the nearby Zabil house hotel, under another name. She also, how did she stay on another name? Because if you stay in a hotel, you have to give your passport, ID. So, okay. Anyway, she also called her mother to tell her what happened and for medical advice. Meanwhile, the sheikh kept calling. Her phone records show that the day after the incident, he called her 14 times. On Sunday, February 16th, he sent her a text. "Good morning, my dearest darling. I hope all is going as planned. Have a wonderful day. Don't stress yourself. Looking forward to see you. Miss you lots. Take care. LOL." Okay. I don't know. I just find this kind of confusing because if he had forced himself on her and she ran away, why would he keep texting her as if they were happy? I'm just telling you my thoughts. I mean, if a guy tries to rape you, he wouldn't try to get in touch with you. He wouldn't send any message. And him sending a message, I mean, why would he want this to be documented? Because this is evidence. Why would he use his actual phone? Why not use some other fake phone? And in fact, the biggest thing in my head is, he being so powerful, why let evidence go? He can literally kill a person and nobody would know about it. Like when you're in UAE and someone does something to you, you can jail a person for life. You can give them, let's say, for example, you just falsely imprison them with fake drugs. Say that, oh, we caught with drugs in their house. Who can prove that they're innocent? So he could have done so many things. He didn't. And she is still alive to share all this. So I begin to think that if he is so powerful, which he is, he can do anything he wants. He can just jail you without evidence. How can you prove your innocence? So, I'm playing the devil's advocate here, okay? That morning, on the advice of, and see, here she's calling, texting. They can even scan your phone. They know what messages they're going through because obviously you're connected from Do to Etisalat, which belongs to the government. So why would they allow her to get in touch with all her friends so casually? Okay? So I'm just saying, isn't it easier to just, like the mafia movies, just kill the person, no evidence, nothing, or the person just gets an accident and they never live to talk about another day. So, I'm just thinking about all this. See, that morning on the advice of Tom Fletcher, former UK ambassador to Lebanon who lived in Abu Dhabi, she called a senior consular official at the British embassy in Dubai. Not wanting to discuss the assault over the phone, he agreed to coffee at the hotel. So the British Foreign Office report. Then it says, redacted UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office report obtained under a personal data request confirmed that they met at 2:50 p.m. Okay, so as per what her account, there is evidence. Okay, that also with the government figure. According to Caitlin, he said they were not supposed to give advice, but his advice would be to leave and not report it to the police as I'd end up arrested. The FCO report puts this differently. FCO is Foreign Commonwealth Office. Okay. I advised that the embassy would never tell her what to do in terms of reporting the incident to the police or on whether to stay in UAE or leave, stated the report. We had a long discussion about this and I acknowledged it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to raise a case with the police and the name NN has her attacker. She also would face the same problem in getting any kind of legal representation, obviously, because it's an Nayan family. As the report confirmed, she went to the embassy the next morning, Monday, February 17th, and saw the senior consular official again, as well as a female counselor. Caitlin said she was continuing receiving unwanted calls from NN, it stated. She was still receiving calls from the festival sponsors and artist Soyinka called her that day. It was really frustrating, she said. I spent 6 months building this festival that was so hard and to have it all ruined because of the whims of this man in 2020. Furthermore, her two young sisters were booked to fly out and join her for the festival and then have a holiday. I couldn't stop thinking about my little sister who had saved up to fly out for the festival. She's a student. It was her first time in the Middle East and I didn't want to reinforce all those cliché about Arab men that I'd fought so hard against all my career. Nayan sent her another message on Tuesday telling her, do please call whenever it's convenient for you, take care. I don't know why, I can't seem to understand why is he still sending messages which can be used as evidence in such a romantic way. I mean, I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. Did she give him kind of a romantic response? Like maybe she was not comfortable, but she made him feel like she liked him, and that is why he still felt encouraged to share all this. Because if I'm with a girl and the girl shows that she is comfortable, but maybe I'm dumb enough not to be aware, she shows that comfortable, so I'll assume that she likes it. And maybe I'm dumb enough not to know what she really feels. And after she leaves, she's really frightened and she's really worried. So obviously I'll be like, what's happening? Is she okay? So then obviously I would send messages from my actual phone. So I feel this is maybe what I'm just giving you my opinion about this. Maybe I'm wrong, See, because like I've told you before, I was a playboy when I was in Dubai. I had plenty of girlfriends, okay? And I did have one incident where the girl came, she was with me, we spent time together, we smooched, we kissed, everything together. And later on she said bye and she left. But the following day, her friend called me up and said, hey, what man, my friend was not comfortable. I said, what do you mean not comfortable? She said she had a great time. She sent me a text and I even showed her, no, she was not comfortable. I said, okay, wait, I need to speak to her because, I genuinely felt really bad. I was like, what? So when I called her up and I spoke to her, She said, hey man, sorry, I don't feel bad. I just told my friend I should have told you instead. I said, yeah, tell me what happened. She said, I'm just not comfortable. I was not up to it. And I said, then why didn't you stop it? And she said, no, I was just confused. I didn't know how to tell you that. So I was like, yeah, but you are smiling, you're happy. Yeah, that was just me, being nervous, but, I just didn't feel it. But I just went with the motions. So I was really, really fucking shocked. I apologized profusely and she said, okay, it's okay, forget it. We are good. And I apologized many times after that. And yes, we became friends after that. But that incident left me really disturbed. So I'm giving a real life incident. I'm not supporting her because I don't know her. I'm not supporting the sheikh because obviously I don't know him personally. I'm just giving you both the sides and I'm telling you this is how it can be perceived. And what I look at it as, if a guy tried to rape the girl or, and he knows that he raped, I mean, he wouldn't be sending messages. But if a guy felt that the girl was comfortable and happy and, I would keep sending the girl messages. That's what I feel. Maybe she didn't communicate. I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay. So then, okay, take care. Eventually, she left for Oman on February 23rd. So until now, she's moving carefree. She's traveling. He has not done anything to stop her. Okay. And he's very powerful. He can do that. He can just send his CIDs or the police and they say, oh, we caught you for drugs, and they can plant the drugs and arrest them. So that didn't happen. Okay. So 2 days before the festival, and paid to change his sister's flights to meet her there instead. It was supposed to be a holiday, but she could not stop thinking about what had happened. The UAE Labour Ministry kept calling and messaging her, telling her she had broken the country's law by leaving before her contract was up. Okay, that's not good. They had no choice but reporting her as absconding. On February 25th, the festival opened as planned. I was watching the Harvey Weinstein verdict on TV as I followed the launch on my laptop. I could see Peter and Nayan on stage being applauded for something I'd built. It made me feel such a fool. How is this still happening? I understood why Peter went ahead, and I didn't want all that hard work to be for nothing to let everyone down. But nobody knew what had happened to me. They had all thought I had a breakdown. I wanted people at the festival to know. So next is a screenshot of the Twitter, this thing, Isaac Florence. It's at the rate Isaac80 Florence. Hey, festival Abu Dhabi opens at Peter Florence singing Hen Vlad Fey Nandu, the Welsh national anthem. This is the end, the best part. Excited for the first Hey Arabic starting today. HT at the rate HT Fletcher for the video. Okay, thank you. Okay. So here it shows a screenshot of Peter Florence, CBE, Director of Hey Festival. Okay, dated February 26th, 2020. It was sent at 1:15 a.m. Okay, then. In desperation, she messaged Florence, Hi Peter, I know you have an insane amount on today, but watching the Weinstein verdict on the news and with Nayan playing the good guy at the launch, I can't stay quiet about what he did. It goes against everything I'm about, but I also don't want to mess up anything for you and the team. I'm going to reference Weinstein in my speech, he replied, according to a tweet from one of the festival board members, Guto Hari. Florence said, if anybody has to be banged today of all the days and from now on, let it only be Harvey Weinstein of the world who disgraces humanity. So here it shows Guto Hari at Guto Hari at the rate Peter Florence champion free speech as he thanks Abu Dhabi for hosting Hey Festive Arabic. If anybody has to be banged up today of all the days, from now on, let it be only Harvey Weinsteins of the world who disgrace humanity. Okay. This was sent February 25th, 2020 at 6:01 p.m. Okay. Then the next paragraph says, I have no shame. Kathleen emailed him later this morning saying, I'm feeling increasingly uncomfortable with how this is being covered up. She added a statement detailing events on the night of the alleged assault and asked him to send it to her colleagues on the board. It concluded, I did not expect or deserve this, so I have no shame about sharing the details of what happened should anyone wish to know. I would like the team to know so that we can work together to reduce the risk of others for honesty's sake and to ensure that we are not being hypocritical in asking the ministry to practice the values that they preach. The statement was never sent, When contacted by us to explain, Florence responded that he was too unwell to answer questions. Caroline Mitchell, the festival's chairwoman, replied, "It is not possible to communicate the incident to everyone, nor safe to do so while we lacked a clear path for seeking justice. So, for the reasons of confidentiality, security, and to buy Caitlin important decision making time, the specific details of the attack were shared carefully within a very tight circle." Okay. On March 2nd, she received a final message from Nayan. "Good evening, my dear Caitlin," it read. "I just want to convey my utmost appreciation for the outstanding hard work you did, which made Hay Festival a success. I'm disappointed that I didn't have a chance to thank you in person. However, I want you to know you will be always be welcomed back, and whenever you like it, it'll be a pleasure to see you again." I don't know. I just find these messages kind of confusing because it kind of looks like he's happy, he likes her, or he got the message that she likes him, and it's like nothing happened. I mean, if a guy tried to rape someone, he wouldn't be sending messages like "I miss you" and all that. He'd just send like formal messages. "How are you doing? How's the festival?" Stuff like that. So I don't know. This is just the gray area where I'm confused. Okay. However, she has been putting lots of stuff in detail. Okay, lots of incidents, a lot of people. But then again, the only gray area which nobody can comment on is what signals did she give him? Like, what message did she tell him? Like, explicitly no? Did she, like claw his face or tell him no and scream and cry? Or did she show that she was happy? And so, see here, there are both sides of the argument. Okay. Like I'm saying, I'm giving you my thoughts. I'm not saying he's wrong or she's wrong or he's right or she's right. I'm just giving you as a bystander. Then she flew back to London with her sisters on March 5th to find a nation preparing for the pandemic. Her salary from Abu Dhabi had been stopped and her future contract to set up Hay Festival in Tel Aviv cancelled because of COVID-19. What he had done affected everything, she said. "My personal relationships, I split up with my long-term boyfriend, my family, my friends, and my work. Not only had I lost my job, but I couldn't imagine ever working again in the Middle East. I can't go back to the UAE, but even the whole Arab world." I totally understand if it is true what she said. It's a really shocking, bad incident because it can destroy you completely if it is true. Okay. The day before the lockdown, she took all her books about the Middle East to a charity shop. "I also felt abandoned by the festival," she said. "I spent the lockdown in my flat in East London feeling as if it had been swirled around and spat out." Okay. His family owns the country. Next one. Eventually, on April 21st, she sent a message to Philip Sands, the renowned writer and human rights barrister who is on the board of the festival. It was the first time he had heard of the attack and was horrified. It put her on the payroll, so she received furlong and arranged counseling. A medical report seen by us describes her as suffering severe post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the incident. Repeated panic attacks in the night she says, have left her barely sleeping. Well, I would imagine it would be something really horrific. Sands said Florence suggested that she be put in touch with Baroness Kennedy QC, a leading voice on women's rights. "Helena Kennedy listened to me when no one else was," she said. "I wish everyone had a woman like this on her side." Kennedy was outraged. "I was once the chair of British Council and I firmly believed in cross-cultural collaborations," he said. "It is through connections and a mutual sharing of arts and knowledge and ideas that we create a better world." For a man who is leading minister of his nation to grossly violate a woman who is there to organize a major cultural event is criminal. The UAE should sack him immediately, but I suspect that will not happen. His family owns the country. As soon as the lockdown ended, Kathleen went to the police giving a three-hour video interview at the family unit in Stanford, East London. Police took concerns about her security so seriously that they fitted panic alarms in her flat and assigned a female detective who has been checking in her every week. "Nayan's power and influence span so much of the world, including this country," said Kathleen, obviously. "She is determined to bring him to book." Kennedy arranged for leading London law firm Cater Ruck to represent her pro bono and set about looking to whether Nayan could be prosecuted in this country under universal jurisdiction laws, which would mean human rights abuses such as torture and detaining someone against their will can be tried in any country. You see, listen, okay, I might be uneducated, dumb, just a normal tattooed guy who's speaking on an island in some movie, but I can tell you something. You can't try the Nayan family. You can't try the Saudi sheikh for the murder of Khashoggi. These are powerful people with powerful connections, with so much of money. I don't know when these... See, whether he's guilty or whether he's innocent, you cannot try such powerful people. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's as simple as that. No matter, you can get all the human rights activists. I mean, Nayan represents the fabric of UAE. You can't touch them. Okay? It's as simple as that. Okay, then a legal opinion has been sent to the Crown Prosecution Service. Caitlin was told a decision was expected last month on whether they would go ahead, but they are still waiting. At the same time, she came forward to us and waived her anonymity. I feel I have nothing to lose, she said. I want to do this because I want to highlight the effect of powerful men like him doing things like that and thinking they can get away with it. It seems clear from the setup it was not the first or last. It really took a massive mental and physical toll on me for what to him was probably just a whim. Nayan didn't respond to our calls or messages, obviously, from us over the allegations which were sent via his press advisor. A letter sent by libel lawyer Schillings said, our client is surprised and saddened by this allegation which arrives 8 months after the alleged incident and via a national newspaper. The account is denied. Meanwhile, the man who likes to be known as the Sheikh of Hearts continues claiming to promote tolerance. Last Thursday, he was co-hosting an Arab Women's Award in the UAE. So this is by Sunday Times. See, overall, like I said, I'm just a YouTuber who reads incident and gives you his account, his perspective. I don't know whether this is true or false. Okay, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is true? Do you think this is false? If you ask me my opinion, she does have detailed accounts of what happened and she has evidence as what they claim. In terms of the Sheikh, I mean, if he is guilty, I mean, why would he let her live? Why would he let her go? Why would he keep sending texts as if, they're friends? My opinion, which I don't know if it matters to anyone, I feel she was uncomfortable, but maybe she didn't communicate explicitly how she felt. Maybe she was trying to be polite and nice, and he mistook this as she liking him. And he just continued as if she still likes me. But deep down, she was scared, she was petrified, she didn't show her real feelings. And that's why this happened. Otherwise, please make me understand. Why would he let her live? Why would he let her go? Why wouldn't he get her arrested and put her behind bars and on a fake charge and be jailed for life? I mean, then, if someone is guilty for drugs or anything, they can say, well, she was caught having drugs. And then nobody can do anything. So I don't know. I've given you both the sides. You tell me, what do you think? And like I said, I'm just sharing what I read, and that's all I can say. Anyway, these are my thoughts. Let me know what do you think. And this is at 4:54 in the morning. I'll try to upload this and share with you the video. So this is me signing off, guys. Thank you very much. This is me over and out.